Let's talk.
It's insanity in a box.
The kids are designing in software, and they're taking this project from start, paper concept, right through to a finished product.
And being able to put all this experience on my resume has enabled me to walk into certain jobs when I'm competing against other kids. And I actually recently just got hired by one of the main sponsors.
World problems. We did a major redo of our robot the first day here, and we overcame it, and we're in the competition. We're having fun.
I heard a university prof saying, I wish science students would be able to apply the science that they learn. We need kids to look at something and say, how can we make this work in society? Well, this program is exactly that.
I see like how I'm applying different concepts of computer science, physics, and engineering.
It allows teams to not only play against each other, but play with each other.
And gracious professionalism teaches us that every day.
Starting from kindergarten all the way through to the end of high school. And so the sooner we can get the kids exposed to a program like ours, they will develop that excitement and passion.
I really enjoyed my experience here.
It's just a giant family.
It's nice to see people from all around the world united by robotics.
Best experience I've ever had in my life.
You and your school can be part of this awesome competition. Visit our website for more information today.
Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Cass McGill. We're here at Assumption High School today to talk about robotics. The day that Chris Hadfield returned to Earth from space is a wonderful topic. It's a wonderful topic to introduce to our young people. And what better topic, and what better person, I should say, to answer some of the questions associated with this topic is Eric. Maybe you could introduce yourself, Eric, and tell us why.
So my name is Eric Kuzmierczak, and I'm the Director of Robotics and Youth Programs at We Tech Alliance. And our organization is helping to spearhead the expansion of this remarkable F.I.R.S.T Robotics program in Windsor and Essex. And we feel it's a very important program. Our organization works hand in hand with technology and innovation companies in Windsor and Essex. And whether those companies are in manufacturing or agriculture or medical, they all say the same thing. We have a shortage of skilled workers, engineers, IT professionals. and IT entrepreneurs. And the fundamental challenge for our region, and really our country, is going to be how do we fire up and get young people interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? How do we direct them into those fields where the jobs of tomorrow and today are going to come from? And this program, F.I.R.S.T Robotics, does a remarkable job of getting young people passionate about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yeah, a wonderful introduction, Eric. And what I'd like to do now is introduce our mentors from the different high schools. Maybe we could start for Sherry here. You could tell us you're from what school and why is this important to you?
I'm Sherry Kostelski. I'm from Sandwich Secondary School, Sabre Bites. F.I.R.S.T is very important to me because the kids learn a lot. They're educated through tech, business, audio, programming, and it really inspires these kids to motivate themselves to go on into these fields in university.
Wonderful. And Mike Costello from St. Anne's?
Yes. I was introduced to the program back in October by the Sabre Bites 772. And what they've done is it opened up an entire new door for us here at school, at St. Anne's High School, and I believe in the community. They've opened up a program that introduces the students to what's ahead, where we're headed in the future, and actually where we're at today.
Okay.
Your attention, please.
Beautiful.
All wrestlers, please go to room 402 for a meeting at this time. Wrestlers, please report to room 402 for a meeting.
And I know, Lee, you're the most senior mentor in the group right now from Sandwich. Why is this such a passionate topic for you?
I think this is the best way to engage kids in science, technology, engineering, and math. It brings the application side to what's kind of seen as maybe a boring theoretical side of things, and it makes it more fun. It gives kids that instant gratification of an outcome, a 120-pound robot.
And Mark, this was your first year at Assumption, and you got really excited about what this topic meant for your kids?
Absolutely. My goal was to introduce my technological studies students to something new, something interesting, and also to include the IB students, International Baccalaureate students, to be involved in technological studies also. And it's a great mix. It really has worked out well.
And finally, Larry, or Richard, I'm sorry, from Maranatha. Thank you for coming. This is your first time on our show, so we really appreciate it. Why? And you've got a team of girls. Why is that so important to them?
Well, the industry is looking for females to step up in engineering and the technological industry, and it's our team just kind of came together that way. There were more females that came out, and it was just great to mentor them, get them working with their hands, get them thinking about what we taught in the classroom and now applying it to a project where they can work together and most of all have fun. So
I think the operative word is fun. So what I want to do is engage some of the students now. I know the young lady here from Maranatha, Megan, if you could stand up with me for a minute. Why is this program so important to you, and what does it do for your educational opportunities?
Well, this program's amazing because it's available for everyone and it's great for everyone. So we're from a small private school that doesn't have much money, but we can do just as well as maybe Sandwich, who are a public school who have more sponsors. This program is just for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're girls. I'm our head of mechanical, and I'm a girl. We have our CEO is a girl. It doesn't matter if you're a small school. We have 80 kids, 20 kids showed up for the robotics team. It's for everyone, and it's an amazing program to have for that. So. Okay.
And Noah, where's Sim from Sandwich over here? We met before, and I was always impressed by your enthusiasm for science. But why is this program so important to you? It seems to bring all the science together in an enjoyable way.
I think that is a very important project that high school students have, and they get, and it's so great to see everybody come together in a team, also working with mentors, working with teachers, and also applying things that you usually learn in classrooms and applying it to a project that you're doing not only for yourself but for a team and for your school and for your community. And it's great. And I have heard it countless times that people have said in my math class that, Miss, why are we learning this? Sir, why are we learning this? And then people in our team take what we learn in school and we just just put it in a robot. We use it with the robot, and it's so great that the theories and the things that we learn in classroom is not going to waste for us, because that's what usually happens, that sometimes you learn something in high school and you never use it again, and you've taken it, like you take math all through high school and then you go to post-secondary education and you're like, there's no use for this anymore. I learned so much, but I have nowhere to apply it. But robotics is where you can learn things that you learn in high school and apply it right there and there.
Wonderful. And part of the team approach in the audience today is a team from business. And I know, Larry, you're a positive and a very enthusiastic parent, but you also represent Centerline. So what's your role in this whole project?
Well, Centerline's been wonderful in supporting the program, and companies in the area like Centerline and Valiant, we recognize that there's a need in the community to support programs like this, and not just because we need employees, but we need to develop the community, and we need kids to get passionate about careers that they can have, and they need opportunities to see different careers that are available to them and grow and learn critical thinking and team building and so on.
But you're kind of unique because you and your wife take part in this. So not only do you represent Centerline, you're also a parent. Why is that so important?
Sherry and I have had our two youngest kids are in the program now, and our two oldest have graduated, are in university. And honestly, if you asked any of our 4 kids, and probably a lot of the kids here today, they will literally tell you that it's changed their lives, that they gave them some focus to what they were doing. It gave them something to be passionate about, something to learn about. And for Sherry and I, we want to see more of this happen in the community because it's been so wonderful for our own family.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's kind of new to me is the gracious, help me out here, gracious professionalism, is that what they call it? Why do I stutter over that word? I can't remember. But can you explain to our audience what gracious professionalism really means? Because that concept really enamored me as a wonderful thing to do.
Gracious professionalism is basically everyone's working together. You're competing on the field, and in FIRST, it's not like you compete on the field, but off the field, you're all working together. You're all helping each other. If you need help in the pits or you need a spare part, you help that person, you help that team to build that robot and to get back on that field. And a great example is at the Western Regional in Canada. There was a team that showed up, but it was only one person, and he showed up with a robot that was unfinished. A whole bunch of teams came together, and they helped finish that robot. They helped him drive the robot. They helped him scout to be able to pick if he ended up in the top 8 teams, and then he ended up winning the Judges Award for his excellence in passion toward FIRST.
Okay. So, Rochelle, I know that you're from Sinclair, and you've been in the workplace as an electrician. So not only a role model as a woman, but you also have worked in the workplace. You've actually teach it now. Why is this whole concept of robotics meaningful to you?
I think it's meaningful because I think there's a lack of training our kids into robotics and mechanical and engineering and electrical and electronics, all these things that we try to promote at the college. And I think this is great because they get hands-on, they get the taste for it, they get the drive for it, and they want to continue with that. And, you know, we give them a way to kind of continue what they're learning at a high school level.
And so for Sinclair, what is the biggest obstacle for you to maintain your courses? Like, should we be driving this concept at the lower end of school systems?
Of course, I think it's very important to start even at the grade school level and exposing them to these things and getting them excited about it and having fun with all this stuff, not being intimidated by it, not looking at it and saying, oh, I can't touch that. I'm gonna ruin something. You know, because it's a lot of fun. It's easy to work with. We have so many people to help you do this, and I think FIRST Robotics is a great outlet for that. And then if we had it at grade school, we can obviously take it through to high school and then hopefully bring that into the college and then give them a diploma or give them something where now they can be very employable with the industry.
So Eric, just give us a quick synopsis just for the benefit of our viewers here. First, what does it mean?
Well, FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology.
Okay.
And it's basically a robotics competition. You have about 3,000 high schools worldwide competing in this competition, taking part. They basically take, during the school year, from about September to December, they do a lot of prep work. They build websites, they do videos, they do training in electrical, mechanical, and whatnot. And then from January till about middle of February, 6 weeks, they design and build these 120-pound robots. And you know, we do a really good job in Canada of sparking interest in young people at the elementary school level in science and technology, engineering and mathematics. But for some reason, in high school, that interest just drops off a cliff. It's like a black hole. Young people lose their interest in science and technology. This program keeps that passion alight. And the reason why, it's because this is a sport. This is competition. So this has all the benefits of sport. You have teamwork, camaraderie, leadership, and fun. And when you go to a world championship or when you go to a regional competition, there are 20,000 young people from around the world screaming and dancing in the stands for 4 days straight competing. So it's much more than just the robot. And I'm hoping that some of the students here talk about the fact how it's much more than just technology and robotics and engineering.
Let's hear some of those people. Where's that young man that bothered me today? Oh, over here, Michael. What is this program? Why don't you get so excited about it?
Well, when I first got into the program, I didn't really know like anything about technology and robotics and how to really use tools. And like for me, it was about the technology part at first, and then later on, I enjoyed it a lot because it was really fun. And at first, I didn't really know how to use any tools. And when I got there, I just thought everything, like the noise that they make, and I called them by that. And at the end, I named a lot of tools. And at first, I didn't even know how to all I could do was use a screwdriver.
Okay. I know, Dave, you're a parent too, and a mentor, and what gives you the most thrill? What gives you the most excitement of taking part in this program?
Well, working with the kids and coming up with multiple ideas. And like I said, my wife and I have been doing this for 13 years. And it's great to see the kids go out and coming up with different ideas and working in a team environment to come out. And when they get onto, and they can pick anything they want. It could be mechanical, electrical, it doesn't really matter, business. But it gives them, sometimes they don't want to listen to the parents, so they come talk to the mentors, right? Ask, what should I do in school? My question, or my answer back to them, what do you want to do? Because whatever you want to do it with passion, and then you're going to come out. Like Chris Hadfield, he wants to be an astronaut, right? He's the best of what he can do. I've got, at one of the competitions at the space station, he promotes F.I.R.S.T Robotics. They do a great job. All the kids.
So now he's a Canadian hero, isn't he? Kind of the guy that we should be emulating, Lee, as a role model for our young people?
Absolutely. I think kids should be thinking big, aiming high, be whatever you want to be. And this is kind of a microcosm of the real world. It's a snapshot of what real business is like. Everything from the business side of it down through the technical, electrical programming side of it. F.I.R.S.T Robotics covers all of it. That's why I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's worth emphasizing is that, again, it's more than just robotics, and it's more than just students who are interested in science and technology or are good with their hands. This program actually brings together, you got your science people, your technology students, your engineering students, but you also have your business students, because there's a business competition that's a part of this, this wonderful program. There's an animation component. You have students doing videos and animation for this competition. So what's wonderful is it brings together the technologically inclined students with the non-technologically inclined students. And that's the way project management works. So they're getting real project management experience and real leadership at a very early age.
There was some young lady talked to me about management, a business plan. Who was that? I'll come to you in a minute, but was it you? Yeah. Do you want to explain why the business plan is so important?
Well, I'm a public relations leader on 772, and I've been learning, last year I came on the team and I had no idea what a business plan was. And this year and last year I learned what it was. And it's basically just everything that our team does to keep sustainable. And it's so important because it keeps the team going, and it learn, in the future, I might have to write a business plan at a company or something, and I know how to do that, and I'm only in grade 10. So just learning to be able to do that. I would never be able to learn that in a classroom. They don't teach those kind of things. So that's so amazing about F.I.R.S.T.
Yeah, I know you were excited, Susan, about Suzanne, about getting this message out of the business plan. You want to?
Sure. The model that we use here is a governance model. So there's the business plan part, and that's the exciting part for myself. That's why Mark Gillis and I are partners. He's taking care of the robot, and I take care of the other side, which involves a lot of different facets. It includes raising money, writing letters, sponsorship letters, the web design, which I'm really happy one of our students stepped up and took over that initiative. And you have to make sure that all your expenses are balanced, because this is an extracurricular activity. It's something that is not funded by the school board. So you have to come up with innovative ways to access the community and bring the community in. So for me, learning how to balance a budget is very important. Especially with the way our economy is going and the day-to-day lives and families. So I think the students acquired an appreciation for that.
Okay. What do you think balancing the budget is good for your home as well as everything else? Because so many of us can't balance our budget, right? So this is a great skill. But we haven't talked, that's personally criticizing myself, you realize that. But it's also important to get mentorship, and I'm amazed by what's represented here today, because we have got 2 young men, and maybe more, who come from the university, who had been at the high school, and have offered to mentor high school students in their own time because they so much enjoy it. So Aaron, explain what you do.
All right. I was on the robotics team from grade 9. My dad actually was one of the mentors beforehand, so I got a really good experience before going into high school. And so once I entered high school, it helped me choose what I want to do. I ended up going to computer science because I loved programming so much on the robot. Now that I'm in computer science, I ended up going and helping 2 of the rookie teams, Assumption and MCA, and it was interesting to see how they were. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of cool to see someone just getting into a brand new perspective. Everyone has different ideas. It's always great to see them develop. They ended up taking 2 totally different streams. One went offensive and the other one went defensive. And it was interesting how they both accomplished what they had to do, and they both did a really good job. And I love it. It was one of the highlights of my year, and I would definitely do it again.
Okay, and getting back to Mark, how important is it for you to have mentors like Aaron to support your program?
Well, it's definitely very important. I know nothing about programming. I know a little bit now, but without Aaron and Alex over there right beside him, we would have been basically lost, to be honest with you. They've been through it before. They did whatever they could do to get us on path, and I feel proud to have. I had Alex as a student back in high school years ago, and that connection we made back then, it probably had something to do with the great connection we have now, and that's the great thing about being a teacher.
The great thing about being a past teacher myself and seeing the representation of all the high schools here today of our community, that to me is very meaningful, because there's no difference between what high school you go to in terms of robotics. It's the same thing. So Richard, when you're in Maranatha and it's a private school, and sometimes you don't get that opportunity to mix with other high schools in a meaningful way, how important was that for you to get the help and support for this project?
Yeah, it was very important. I remember when I was approached with starting this team, I remember just thinking, okay, how are we going to build a robot? We don't have a tech shop in our school. Where are we going to get the money to buy the parts? How are we going to learn how to program? There were so many things. Where are we going to build it? Even if we do get the help, and everything just kind of fell into place. There's so much help from, from Sandwich and from other mentors and parents coming on board, and everything just worked out. And our school had purchased an old community living building, and so we went in and we renovated the basement, and we had people bringing in tools and donating things for us. So we put the whole robot together in the basement there, and it's just a good experience.
Eric?
Yeah, I was going to say, we like to say that we're building an ecosystem in Windsor and Essex in this region for F.I.R.S.T Robotics. And what we mean by that is that we'll take a school like Maranatha and we'll surround them with as much support as they need to get this program going. So for example, St. Clair College has been on board both financially and providing mentoring. The University of Windsor, we just established a F.I.R.S.T Robotics Club where you have engineering and computer science and business students like Aaron and Alex going into the high schools and working hand in hand with the high school students. You have companies like Valiant, like Centerline, Brave Controls, and others, and when utilities coming on board, both with mentoring, getting their engineers and their machinists to come on board to help these students and whatnot. So we're all coming together as a community, and that's really the beauty of that word that you used earlier, cooperation.
No, I didn't use it, you did.
Well, cooperation, all right. Cooperation is a big word in this community, and what it basically means is, yes, we compete against each other on the field, but we also work together, we collaborate. We want to make sure that all of us succeed, and what a beautiful lesson that is for the community here in Windsor.
Let's go with this young man. You're from St. Anne's, right?
Yes.
So you were telling me how meaningful it was to work with different groups from all over. Did you go to St. Louis for the competition?
No, we went to the Toronto.
You want to explain what that meant to you?
I think it was really cool to be able to stay in the pits, and it was well set up because our pit was right next to all of the schools from this area, and that really fostered a lot of teamwork between the teams, because we could go to 772 if we needed a part or if we needed advice on programming, because our team was, I wouldn't say weak in programming, but we had a much stronger technical ability in our school, and we could go to them, or we could go to Maranatha or anybody, or even teams that weren't from our area, and we could go to them for any help that we needed. And as well as there's professionals from Centerline, Valiant, and sponsors of the whole event walking around, and being the team captain, I could talk to them, and kind of, it was very interesting being able to get their opinion on things and see them kind of looking, that's kind of cool. We wouldn't have thought to do that. Okay. And that was kind of interesting.
Wonderful. Okay, can we talk about who put your hands up, those folks that went to St. Louis and in the international competition? Okay, I'll just go to some students here. What was your experience? How did you like that?
I love the experience, how we can work with other teams. It was great because there's no other sport where you just combine all your teams together into an alliance and just work together to compete against another alliance. An alliance is 3 teams that just go together and they compete and see who wins as a team together.
Okay. And you were going to say?
It's really great that in robotics, when you're going to competitions, the best part is the people in the stands, not only just the competition part, but the people that are cheering for you. Our drivers, they go down and it's our match, and the entire team just gets up and cheers.
How many people are in these stands?
Oh my God, like you can't even imagine, like you can't get through.
25,000?
A lot. It depends on which regional you go, but like at World Championships, there's like hundreds and thousands of just people, and it's so great because we all share a common ground, a passion for robotics, and it's so great. Like you can't even imagine, like I was when my first year on the team, I was like, okay, this is cool, but my first regional in Tennessee, which surprisingly we won, but when we went there, I was just like, I can't believe I'm part of this. Like you just walk into that arena and you see all these people just cheering out the robots, and they're working together, and just like the environment, and then it's just completely different atmosphere, and you feel so proud of being there that you just feel like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Wonderful. You were going to say something, ma'am, Suzanne?
Well, we're a rookie team, and what's really cool was I was able to watch how the design and development of the robot unfolded, and it's the robot that was nicknamed the Purple Peacock. Yeah, it's called the Peacock of Doom, and the announcer had so much fun with that.
Who picked that name?
It was the crowd.
Oh, I thought it was Mark.
And by going to the World Championships, what blew my mind was the students were going to talk to people from Israel, Mexico, Puerto Rico, from all over the world, from England, Europe. It just was amazing that all these people were together, and the kids were going to all the different pits to talk to the different students that were there. So it was just this feeling that energized me, and I have to say, as a teacher for over 22 years, this was the highlight of my career.
Can I talk, Mike, just to start off about the role of women in robotics and how should we promote it? How do you think, as a mentor in St. Anne's, that you could do that?
We've been pushing to try and get young ladies on the team. We started out with a few that were interested, but they left the team. I'm sorry to say, they left the team because they felt it was mechanical and they thought they should get away from it. I tried to encourage them to stay on because we need people in all areas. All right. If you're not mechanically inclined, you may be interested in, again, the programming or the business side of it. Mm-hmm. We need people in the business side. We need somebody to help us out to take care of the funds, oversee the funds, and I have no gripes about giving that to a young student at our school. We'll all be overseeing it, but in fact, they'll be using some of their business skills of doing sheets for, my apologies, but sheets for a debit and credit sheets, rather, so that we have, I guess I'm trying to open it up to them in all different areas. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of what their interests are.
Okay, I know you really enjoyed, hello, what's your name? Abby. Why, as a woman, and I'm pigeonholing this not because in a derogatory way, but what did you find so exciting about taking part in this?
Well, just I've always been interested in sciences and stuff, and just the fact that we can apply our knowledge to the robot and actually be involved in building a robot and have hands-on and doing things like that. It's so exciting. It's one of the best things I've done, best team I've joined in my high school experience. Yeah.
And I know, Rochelle, as a person who role models women in society in terms of your own job, like you were an electrician, what was it like to get involved? Just let's talk about the electrician part. Was that a new ground for you, and how did that work?
Definitely a new ground. I was one of the first, but it was very hard. I worked really hard, but it was definitely worth it. Mm-hmm. And the relationships that you meet, and even the confidence that I've gained, and I think that I hope young women aspire to gain, is that we can do this, and we have the knowledge to do it, and we have the smarts to do it, and you can work with tools, and it's a lot of fun to do it. I love programming robots, and that's a highlight of my career. That's always given me job opportunities. So just give it a try, and if it's not for you, yeah, you can, through F.I.R.S.T Robotics, you can kind of navigate yourself to what you're going to like, but definitely try it, because I think women have something to bring to the plate, because we do view things differently, and we have a different way of looking at things and tackling problems.
Where's the other young lady? Who has not spoken here is the young lady that I would like. I don't want to ignore anybody. Where is she? There she is, over here. Okay. Sarah, why did you enjoy it?
I enjoy it because I'm actually an international student in Canada, and as joining this team, I can experience.
Stand up.
Oh, okay. As joining this team, I enjoy this culture better, and I know more people and know how people actually work. So much interesting things here, and I really enjoy this experience.
Where are you from?
I'm from China.
China.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
2 years.
Very good. Well, that's good to hear. Yes, Eric.
I was going to say, Kaz, that when you actually go to a tournament, one of the things that is really striking about the tournaments is that about 50% of the participants are young girls in F.I.R.S.T Robotics. And that's amazing when you consider the fact that only about 8% of engineers workforce are women. And when you look at, for example, computer science departments at universities, only 10% are women. This program does a phenomenal job of breaking down those types of cultural barriers and stereotypes that prevent a lot of young women from entering those fields. Mm-hmm. But it's not just about getting more young girls involved. It's about getting more people in general, young people interested in science and technology, engineering and mathematics. And President Obama said in his State of the Union address this year that the country that out-educates us today will out-compete us tomorrow. This is the fundamental basis of all economic development, whether it's in Windsor and Essex or Canada.
Okay. I know Sherry Lynn is welcome, Sherry. Thanks for coming. Maybe you need a stand here for the. Why do you think, as administrator, that this is so important for our young people to get involved in?
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity. This is a perfect example of out-of-the-box thinking and the skills that the employers are looking for. They need to be able to work collaboratively. They need to be able to, just think of new innovations, and this gives them a unique opportunity to do that.
So, okay. Can I move on to another topic, because I know our businessmen are getting a little bit edgy over here. The role of business. My take on this is, listen, industry takes advantage of our educational system in many ways. They wait until they're graduated, then they take them to service their industry. As opposed to other models in different countries, which they become a collaborative participant in the educational process and actually get invested in the system early on. Why are we not doing that, Larry?
I think with some of the economic downturn that we saw some years ago, there was some, the businesses were struggling on their own. But all along, I think there's been businesses in Windsor like Centerline, like Valiant, and other great companies that have recognized all along that we need to be part of the community, we need to be building our young people, we need to be giving them opportunities to see different things, to experience different career paths and so on. And I think that slowly, I think many companies are realizing the same thing now, that they need to take a proactive, hands-on approach like Dave and I are in being part of these kids' futures. Mm-hmm. And we need to show them those opportunities and challenge them.
So Lee, how do we do that? Because teachers are not trained to go out into the marketplace and fundraise and all kinds of stuff. Like, I think it was Mike that talked about investment as opposed to sponsorship. Like, who should be doing that on our behalf in terms of educators?
Well, our team, we do it as a team. We approach companies. I have the kids making cold calls, trying to get, we call them sponsors, but I like investors better. And to point on what Larry said, companies should be looking at this as an investment. Sure, they want to get involved with the community and they want to give back, but they get a real return on their investment when they fund programs like this, because young kids coming up in the educational system are choosing engineering, science, math before they get to university. When you get to university, it's tough to make that choice. Mm-hmm. You need to get them making that choice in high school.
Yeah.
And these programs, F.I.R.S.T Robotics does that.
Mark, your take on that?
Absolutely. I often felt as a teacher that I was somewhat on my own, trying to educate these kids with technology. This definitely, you're not on your own. Mm-hmm. To all the other teachers out there, there's tons of support, and next year we're going to pursue, and we're going to hopefully get more mentors, more companies on board to help us convey education systems to other
I think
students.
we have two young guys, I'll get back to you in a minute, over here, who not only did they enjoy robotics, but they're using it as a market tool in order to get into the workplace. And where is Alex here? Alex, tell us why this is so meaningful to you in terms of your career.
I see robotics being used in all sorts of different fields, and not even just the technical skills, but just the teamwork, the collaboration, the creativity, being applied to every kind of company within Windsor Essex County. And the technology field is definitely going to boom, and we are in the top 10 list of technical cities in North America. And I see that we really need to develop these skills within the Windsor Essex community. And even at the university level, we see that, like, with all the projects the students are taking on, the different competitive teams, that Windsor is a very competitive market for technology.
Mm-hmm. Actually, what field of work are you going to pursue?
I'm pursuing self-driving vehicles. So all my research at the master's level is about how to get vehicles to be assisting the drivers to increase safety and anything related to the interaction between humans and the vehicles.
Wonderful. And what career are you pursuing there?
I'm pursuing to be a software engineer. I want to work with, I want to be able to do different types of programming, all different types, like work on a computer or other. If I were to get a chance. If I were to get a chance, I'd work with robots also, but software, like, I love to program, and be it on a computer or on an actual hardware, it's a great feeling.
Okay. And I know, Larry, anyone wants to jump in, but at one point that you had brought up during our discussions ahead of time was the kids in this program, the young people in this program, become pros. They become, that's one of the few projects in high school that they almost get into the job market very quickly.
One of the founder, actually, sorry. The founder of the program, one of his sayings is that the difference between our sport and every other sport is that all of our kids go pro. And really it's the truth. When you look at the kids around us in the room, and they're starting to make decisions on what they'd like to pursue as a career based on some of their experiences here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's true that all of our kids go pro, and we're here to try and help them.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to say, I think it's also worth mentioning as well, just to build on that, you know, the types of companies that sponsor and mentor FIRST Robotics teams. You're looking at Chrysler, General Motors, Ford, Rockwell Automation, Boeing, NASA, you name it, Microsoft, Google. Every Fortune 500 company either sponsors a team financially or provides mentoring support. Locally, we have companies like Valiant and Centerline, Brave Controls and whatnot, and Enwin. What other program, high school program, is there where young people get to work side by side with mentors and idols from these role models from these fields, that they can actually reach out to an engineer from Boeing and talk one-on-one, not even as a teacher-student relationship, but as partners on a project? There's no other program that has that type of exposure. And when I was growing up, I could rattle off the starting lineup of the Detroit Tigers like there's no tomorrow. What we want these young people to do is to think of companies like Valiant, Centerline, Boeing, GM, and Chrysler as the teams they want to play for, and ideally here in Windsor and Essex.
Okay, and the next big project or topic I'd like to bring into the discussion, and Braden is a good friend of mine after one day here because I threatened him. How do we sell this topic of robotics to our young people? Because it does come across as very scientific, very boring, not exciting. And Braden, I think, had a good take on it. Do you want to share that, Braden?
Well, from my experience, Dean Kamen once said that you see kids looking at all these NBA stars and all these athletes and getting all this fame and money and glory, and they think that that's what they want to be. They say, like, I want to be like that. I want to make some money, but the reality is, like, only 1% actually do that. With engineers and technology, that's where the real money is, and they can actually get true fame from actually designing something that they actually built through passion instead of just dribbling a ball back and forth for hours. When you can actually build a robot like this, that can actually do stuff and improve people's lives in the future. And like in comparison to football, like they all want to look at all these football players who play football and they all like run in the mud and just ram people back and forth. Like, I want to do that. They cheer for their team, yes, because it's a school. But they all wish that they could be like that. But then in reality, you could just be an engineer and save the world.
There you go. Couldn't he become a good pro for us? And Very good. Why don't you just write your check out now? And, isn't that, you got the application. Lee, is that the kind of selling that we should be doing?
Absolutely. I think our educational system is very theoretically based. Sit in a classroom, open your textbook, let's learn this. And this brings the application side to it. Tech teachers have been saying it for years. Application is where you hook kids. And this is a great way to apply what they're learning in math and physics. And that's the outcome.
Okay. Well, I need some more ideas here to sell. Let me go to this young girl first, then I'll come back to you in a minute.
So one thing that I found through this is I think what Dean Kamen called it the hardest fun you'll ever have. As a student, I know a lot of my friends think that this is the most geeky thing you could ever do. Why would you ever want to do it?
Geeky is a good word. That's the word I heard all the time.
Yeah, it's a geeky thing, it's boring, it's for nerds. Why would you ever want to do it? But the fact is, when you're standing in that stadium and 300,000 people, 30,000 or so people are like cheering on and dancing with you and having like fun, the atmosphere is incredible. We had kids on our team who coming into competition were planning on quitting next year because like they didn't like the build season or whatever. But when they get to competition, they're like, wow, this is amazing. I want to do this next year. This is the greatest thing I've ever done. Mm-hmm. So just that atmosphere that it creates is amazing. So.
Okay. Yep.
Just really quickly, we also had a lot of doctors that gave us money. Like we received $1,000 from one doctor. And I wanted to bring that up, and I also wanted you to speak a little bit about all the different professions. It's not just building a robot that you can use this background.
But you can use it in our, obviously in our industry, in our automotive industry, but you can also utilize it in the medical field, and we can also utilize it, we have a lot of agricultural around here, yes, that we can use these robotics to, so you can really manipulate your career to however you want it to be and kind of finesse yourself in wherever you want to be. And I think this is great for, younger generations to get into, because this is where the employability is. This is what employers are looking for. These are where the jobs are, and there's only going to be a bigger demand for it. So if you can really increase your skills on all this stuff at an earlier age, and then just increase it, just like at the college, if you go even into robotics and stuff like that, that's a great thing for employers to see, and you will have a job at the end.
Okay, I know, was it Alex here wanted to say something? Yeah.
University of Windsor does a lot of outreach in the high schools, and one of the interesting things we had last Friday was a student talking about how passionate he was about robotics, and his dream was to become the next Tony Stark. And we started talking about like embracing your geekiness and being a nerd in science, and he actually summed it up pretty well as nerd is just a short term for a 6-figure salary. And and it's exciting to see all these students like embrace their passion for science and applying their skills and learning, and it's really exciting to be a mentor, and it means a lot to you seeing these kids embrace it.
Well, I tell you what, I was impressed with Alex the other day, because I dropped off here earlier to talk to Mark about something. Here's this young guy driving up in a red sports car that he wouldn't even let me touch in case I put a mark on it. And I'm saying, this guy has got something I don't know about, but that's the geek riding the red sports car. But I know, Eric, one of the things is we've got to go lower in the system to start the process. Explain that to us.
Yeah, so basically the wonderful thing about F.I.R.S.T Robotics, it's not just for high school students. We actually have F.I.R.S.T Robotics at the grade school level, starting from kindergarten all the way up with Lego robotics. And the beauty of that is oftentimes you see high school teams mentoring the grade school teams, and then you'll have the college and the university students mentoring the high school teams, and then the industry partners mentoring the high school teams as well. So what we're developing here is almost like a talent pipeline from the very, very early ages. And students who come up through the program through grade school, when they get into high school, they already have a sense of belonging because they join the high school team. So again, it's all about maintaining that passion and maintaining that interest in robotics and in science and technology from a very, very early age. And we want, our goal, in fact, for next year, is to grow the program. We want to have at least 10 high school teams in Windsor and Essex competing. We also want to have at least 10 grade school teams competing in Lego robotics by next year. So if there's any teachers out there who are considering joining, get in touch with us. Get in touch with myself or Lee Awad at Sandwich High School, and we'll do whatever we can to get the support necessary to get your team off the ground.
Yara, you wanted to say something, then I'll get back to Lee.
I just think it's important that we also talk a little bit about the fact that it's also about the non-technical side of things. Like there's as big a component in the business side and advertising and outreach to the community, and maybe some of the kids even want to talk about that, but there's a huge component of that. And as business or as industry, I should say, we're looking for not just for kids to program our robots and so on, but we're looking for employees at all levels, and this represents that.
Okay. Before we finish, I want to make sure I get all the voices of the young people here. Is there anything I've missed that I haven't said? I know you're really enthused in different areas. What message would you give to our audience about why robotics for you is so important?
Robotics for me is so important because it's everything around you. It's your car driving. It's like how your cell phone is made by robots, or your car is made by robots. And even your car is a robot. Like it can drive itself for a little while by cruise control, or even the radio is even still a robot kind of. And your phone is a robot also. Like you just type on it and it'll send a message to someone else. Like robotics is everything around you, and I just think it's amazing.
So why is it important to you, Michael?
Well, it's important for me because, stand up. Yeah. In my future career, it's something that is being embraced very widely. I'm going into aerospace engineering, and that field has developed...
What grade are you in?
Grade 12. Okay. And it developed so fast, and everything now is being built. I'm learning CAD design, and that's something that I'll definitely need to use in my future career, because I'm going to be designing things on a computer. And then I'm going to be doing wiring guides, and with my knowledge of how to integrate wiring and everything that I've learned from robotics, it's just going to make me that much better of an employee to a company in the future.
Wonderful. Who else have I not heard from? This young man, yeah?
I just want to say, I agree with Megan when she says, like, you don't have to sit down and write all this stuff and like, oh my gosh, my pencil broke. Who has a sharpener? It's like you're actually there, you're active, and you're doing all this stuff. And I agree that if you're having fun, you're learning way more than just sitting down and being bored.
Okay, so how old are you, sir?
I'm 15.
Oh, give me a message to all the 15-year-olds out there why robotics is so fun.
It's fun because you get the experience of engineering, mechanical engineering, your electric engineering, basically almost everything you want to do in your future, possibly.
Very good. And you, sir? Take the mic.
For me, robotics is something that's changed my life. I came in grade 9 last year, and I didn't know what I was getting into. And for me now to say that I've built that robot, I designed part of that robot, I don't know how many other grade 10s there are out there that can say they've built and designed a robot already. And it's just amazing. And for my friends out there that don't know what we really do, they think, oh, we're going around smashing other robots because they've seen that on TV, right? They think it's small, but it's really big. It's multiple countries. It's just so big. It's hard to understand. It's hard to explain. But this, for me, F.I.R.S.T is my life. It's turned into my life.
Wow, what a statement that is. Now, there's a young man over here, Mike. I haven't heard from you all day, but I don't want you to leave here without giving an opinion. You're a mentor, right, from St. Anne's?
Yes, sir.
What you've heard today must surely have impressed you. What message would you give to our community?
Support the robotics if you can. Mentors, come on out and help out. It was an amazing thing for me to help out the kids, watch them learn, and do what you can, either financially or even donating your hours or volunteering your hours.
So the final message, not the final message, but a selling message, Eric, would be?
I would say that, we have in Windsor about 90 companies that do robotics and automation. We have about 250 companies that do machine tool, mold, and die. That's a lot of potential in terms of mentoring potential and investing in sponsorship potential. I guess this would be a call out to those companies and industry that are looking for engineers, that are looking for machinists and skilled workers. Invest in these kids right now. Invest in these kids today, because they're going to be the engines that drive your company tomorrow. Plant the seed today and come on out, whether sponsor the teams financially or provide mentoring as well. One last message to the teachers and the students. We submitted a bid to F.I.R.S.T Robotics to host a regional tournament in Windsor and Essex next year. And we're about this close to getting the green light. And so that tournament is going to bring about 1,500 students from across Ontario, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, as far away as California, Mexico, to Windsor for a 4-day robotics tournament. This is the time to get on board. It's an exciting time. We're growing. And again, if you want to have a life-altering experience, jump in with both feet.
Okay. Now here we have a young man here. Why is robotics so important to you? Is it given?
Well, since I wanted to be part of robotics, I had a friend that told me about it, and I wanted it to be part of my profession. Well, we have different people from this group that are good in special areas of different subjects, and we just all came together, and we just came and built a robot, which is a defensive type. We chose to do it defensive because it's our first year, and I thought it was really good. And we had a team captain build the peacock kind of thing, and we did.
You call it a peacock kind of thing?
Yeah.
Your teacher told you that, say that, didn't they?
No. We had we tested different prototypes, and they didn't work. We had a hockey kind of thing and different kind of nets, but it didn't work, so we decided to do that, and I guess we kind of did well. We went to St. Louis, and we did pretty well, so.
Well done. Good for you. Folks, for coming. This has been a wonderful discussion, I must admit, as a person that has hosted these kind of shows for many years. I'll not tell you how many, but I've done it for a long time. I'm impressed by the quality of discussion. I'm impressed that you folks truly, genuinely enjoy the robotics. All I have to do is listen. That's the message you've got to get across. I'm not so impressed that industry's not getting on board as much as they should be. And somehow or other, we've got to get education, parents, teachers, all working together, just like all of you have worked here today, because that's the collective voice. I'm not necessarily impressed by the Ministry of Education because it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of money, in the sense that it almost depends on private investment. And I don't know if quality education should have to depend on that. There should be a greater emphasis on releasing funds to make this happen in a more qualitative way. What, for example, if some school like Maranatha didn't get the investment? That means you're excluded. And why should you be excluded? That, to me, if this is such an important thing, and as Chris Hadfield come down from space to Earth today as a symbol of what you folks represent, surely we should be sending a message out there that collectively, as a group, we should be getting together and saying to all those people that are responsible for educational policies, maybe we should rethink this process. And I know over here as an educator, don't you think I'm saying something meaningful?
I think the first thing you should do is go back to your schools and apply for those Speak Up grants, because you can access $1,000 from the Ministry of Education right away, and for activities that you're already doing. So each of you can at least start off with that. And there's other grants and things that you could probably access. But we have to work cooperatively. That's the whole part of collaboration. We have to get behind hosting the Worlds and bringing it to Windsor. I've had a small part being able to advertise some of Assumption, and the response is amazing. The most hits we've ever gotten is on the robotics.
You got 30 seconds to sell your program, Eric. Let's have it.
Yeah, we're building an incredibly special thing here in Windsor and Essex. And again, these young people here, they are the future. They are the young people who are going to drive our economy forward. They are the basis of our prosperity. We need to rally around them as a community. And when I go to a competition and I see a team from Windsor flying a flag, Canadian flag, and beating American teams from Boston and California, there's a sense of pride you just get in this community. And if there's one thing that we do well in Windsor and Essex, we know how to build. We know how to build. And this is about building a better, brighter future by investing in these young people here.
Okay, on behalf of this and half of the season for Let's Talk, I've met so many wonderful people. I want to thank all of you for coming here. I want to thank the community for supporting Let's Talk. And we really look forward to seeing you in our 2013-14 season, beginning in October. Thanks, everybody, for taking part. This is a wonderful program today, and I think you represent our young people amazingly. Thank you so much. Bye.